All right, Kinga, Rich, Greg, great to talk with you today. Thanks so much for your support and just positive energy as we've been getting the search ready. Really been exciting to work with you all, and you're also all just, I think, very passionate and aligned to the mission of Stanbridge. And wanted to start there and have our viewers just get a little background on what drew you to the school and your connections to it. So, Kinga, you want to kick us off?
Yes, of course. I have a son. His name is Bence. He's currently in 10th grade, actually finishing up 10th grade in 2 weeks. We joined in 2015, November 30th, in kindergarten. And I remember that day very specifically because it was a life-changing day for us after struggling through four preschools. Obviously, huge fan of Stanbridge because we are still here. Um, Ready to graduate in 2 years' time. Um, I joined the Stanbridge board in 2019, became chair in 2022, and serve as such since. Um, I love the place. I had the opportunity to see the before and after because when we joined, Julie was not our current head of school, did not start her tenure yet. So I saw the transformation of the school throughout the decade and excited to be here. And please ask me any questions, Gabe. I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, thank you. Rich, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Rich Sutton. I'm also a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm a parent of an alumni. So my son went to Stanbridge in 2013 as a third grader and then left in 2017 after his seventh grade year. He re-mainstreamed into public schools here in San Mateo. And I'm excited to say that last week he actually just graduated from Penn State University. So this is a kid who did really well, and a huge part of that is the foundation that was built for him, the foundation of confidence going to Stanbridge.
Awesome. Greg?
Thank you, Gabe. It is really interesting how parents at Stanbridge, I think, remember the exact day their kids started. My daughter Gigi started on December 2nd, 2024, and I still remember seeing her walk up those steps and has done so every single day confidently and happily in the last 2 years. It is an extraordinary school. It is one where we feel so much joy knowing that she is welcomed and appreciated and leaves home excited to go to school. And that's why we're excited to be part of this community.
Thank you all. So yeah, Rich, you talked about foundation. So I want to build there. I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Greg and Kinga. And just, if you want to either share either a particular story or moment where you saw that foundation really getting built, or just what it is about Stanbridge, either holistically or, in a very specific way, has helped to create that foundation. It could be either for you and your child, or it could be just, again, the school writ large.
Yeah, so the families that come to Stanbridge have very similar stories, very similar origin stories about why they ultimately got to Stanbridge. It's all about battling with public school systems to find services or places where their children feel confident and comfortable going to school. Um, when I talk about a foundation, really what I'm talking about is not a single event, but just the everyday experience of Evan at Stanbridge, where he was validated, the environment was positive. He was told every single day that he was a person who had something of value to add to the world, and that just every day built that foundation that then from there you could build learning on top of, right? No kid can go to school and succeed academically if they don't feel good about themselves, they don't feel comfortable in school, they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. And every day at Stanbridge takes our kids in the Learning Differences community and reminds them that they are great people with something to add to the world. And on top of that, that's what I mean by the foundation builds academic success. And that ultimately that's Evan's story.
Oh, that's great. Greg, you said you remembered that very specific day that you came as well. Any thoughts about either that day, what brought you to the school, or what it's done since?
I think, like Rich mentioned, for our daughter, where she joined in fourth grade, She went to really a terrific school before, but not a school that was well suited for her. And I remember an educator describing her after observing her in class as it was her and her aide kind of against the world. It was not a school that was designed for her. And even though people, I think, were well intentioned, they couldn't support her in a way that would help her succeed. We got to the end of the road with that school. And the difference at Stanbridge is extraordinary. It is an educational environment that has been able to bring out her best. She is succeeding. And there's so many parts of that day for her at school that make it work. And I'll give one small example. There's a cares sheet in the elementary school. I don't know if it goes into the higher grades. And this cares sheet gives her everyday feedback on how she's done. And she's a kid who's really motivated to want to do well, but it gives her a framework that makes sense to her. It evaluates her in every class. And she comes home so proudly wanting my wife and I to read it and to see how her day went and to read the comments. That's an example at Stanbridge of how they make things work for the type of students in their population.
Kinga, I've heard you talk a lot about that sort of feeling of proudness and joy. Can you expound either for you personally or what you've observed?
I would like to echo both of you. I believe the secret sauce of Stanbridge is this vibrant, cohesive community of educators and students where everybody is looking out for the other. And they create an environment where children can feel safe and happy. And as a special educator for 30 years, boy, I understand that you cannot learn without being safe and feeling happy. And they do that. I because my son loves art and music, for us, a real special thing at Stanbridge also that they have an amazing art and music program. And because the school is able to really individualize towards students' needs, my son Bence really flourished in those areas. And I think for the past so many years, he had an art and music lesson every single day. So, yeah.
That's great. And if we now just turn to the school at large and thinking about where it's headed and what you're most excited by, Greg, I'll start with you and just, just for you, the next chapter of Stanbridge, things that you're just, really ready to embrace, either as a member of the search advisory committee or as a parent, thinking about just the future of the school and what brings you the most anticipation, if you will.
I think I'm most excited about building from the foundation of strength that we are at right now. It is a school that has parents and students who are very grateful to be part of the school. And yet there's so many new opportunities that we can take advantage of. I think both in the world of technology and from the community at large, this is going to be an incredible era ahead. And for the next head of school, I know the board and the parents and the community are really excited to partner with that person and take advantage of their ideas and get to a great outcome.
Rich, you have, you are an alum parent, so maybe you have some ideas that are inspired by your experience that for you in those 10 years or so, but all or I'm not sure exactly, I forget how many years you're actually there, but also thinking about just, for other future parents and what could be a completely new experience that Stanbridge could bring.
I'm going to echo a little bit what Greg said there. So, the foundation of Stanbridge is I think phenomenal, right? You've got great educators, you got a really solid program that provides excellent academics for kids in our community. The parents, the families describe it as home. They describe it with words like safe and relieved and confident when they come to the school. I think we have an excellent core to build on. I think the opportunity for the next head of school is really about raising the profile of Stanbridge in the community. I don't think that the special education community, the public education community in the peninsula and in the Bay Area has enough of a knowledge of the greatness of Stanbridge. And so taking this incredible foundation again, this incredible core that Stanbridge has built over the last 20 years, and really turning that into something that's visible and world class. To me, that's the huge opportunity that exists here for the next head of school.
That's great. Kinga, you're
Yes,
helping to lead the board. Your thoughts there?
I echo Rich is and Greg, of course, really shaping that next new chapter. Stanbridge had so many amazing achievements throughout the last decade. We became a non-public school. I remember when we started 11 years ago, there were only 3 kids in kindergarten. Now we have a waiting list. So we have a really strong elementary division as well to kind of feed into, yes, use technology, use wonderful new opportunities we have and take the school to the next chapter. And I particularly also would like to see how the next head of school is reaching back to our alumni and bringing the alumni back in a vibrant, lively way to campus, to activities. We recently had an alumni event, and I think the first one ever. And we had young adults show up who graduated 20 years ago. And I think that's also a wonderful opportunity for the future.
Appreciate all that. But just a quick bonus question for all of you, and I want you just to think about some adjectives that like that how the school has either made you feel or have you observed your children feel, and just like in thinking about its impact, either as a parent or as what you can. And Rich, you sort of talked about how your son is a proud graduate now, and what the school did for you and for your son. But just thinking about like maybe just a few words or descriptors that come to mind to talk about, just sort of encapsulate what Stanbridge has either meant to you or the impact it had. Rich, you want to go first?
Yeah, the word that pops into my head, honestly, is inspired. As a parent of a child who was diagnosed with mild autism very early at age 4, going through that journey of changing your expectations as a father, as a parent, about what the right path is to walk, what the appropriate path for your child is to walk in life, that's a very emotional journey. And parents are living it every day when they're duking it out with public school districts to try and get services, or whether they're, slogging through private schools like Greg was talking about, where the fit just isn't there and their kids aren't feeling good. Then you land at Stanbridge and your family is supported and understood. You build confidence, and pretty soon you're inspired. You're inspired by what these kids who, 30, 50 years ago, our kids were not well served by schools in the United States. And I'm sure we all have stories about peers or siblings or cousins who didn't get the support they needed and who were adrift as adults. And watching these kids now, and the support they get and the success that they achieve in life compared to what was available to them 30, 50 years ago is inspiring.
Well, that statement is inspiring in and of itself. I really appreciate that. Kinga, any sort of first come to mind words for you on the impact of the school?
Uh, for me, what was amazing experience is, of course, we were there in elementary, and as I described, I saw my little one shine and learn and so on and so forth. And then we hit puberty. And that is not an easy period. And what I learned, despite the fact that I got phone calls and we had meetings, that we were not being sent away. Stanbridge worked with us and supported my son, and they told me this is a tough period. And the fact that they really stood up when it was challenging, I mean, I'm in awe. And then we got through that period, and then everything went back to normal. So
Appreciate.
yeah,
Yeah,
the,
appreciate
the
that.
fact that they kind of stick with you in good
Yeah,
times and bad times, I think it means a lot.
I think there's a song that actually has that line for sure. Greg, you get the last word on any words of impact the school has had on you or your child.
It's such a good question, and I think in a way, if I have to come up with just one word, I would say it's a loving place.
Mm.
And it's a hard thing for parents. staff, faculty. Most hard things are worth doing, and it's worth doing it for these kids.
Well, perfect note to end on. And this search will, of course, itself be a little bit of a hard process, but a good one. And it is worth it for every single member of the community, the parents, the students, the faculty, the staff, and even the alumni who I think have a great connection back to the school. So thank you all for your insights and thoughts here, and look forward to working with you on the rest of the search.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gabe.
You
Thanks,
got
Gabe.
it.